final bill this afternoon before before the second part of our hearing is from Ms. Wolk. Thank you very much for your patience. I know you've been sitting there.
I was waiting for that committee as well.
Waiting for that one as well.
Still got to go there.
Ms. Wolk is here to present SB 765 regarding the California Market Transformation Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. First of all, I want to thank the Chair and staff for their attention to the bill and their suggested amendments. I agree to take the amendments that regard the definitions of energy efficiency, market transformation, and resources acquisition on page 3 of the analysis. We have agreed in discussions with the Chair not to take amendments that delete the creation of the California Market Transformation Administrator, the independent California Market Transformation Administrator, or any reference to this entity. And the Chair and I have agreed to work on the committee's concerns relating to the CPUC contracting with and oversight of this independent entity if the bill moves out of committee. And I share those concerns. I'm glad they were raised.
Thank you, Ms. Wolk. I know people are moving in and out of the building, so I just want in and out of the room, so I want to clarify.
Okay.
That Ms. Wolk is the chair is recommending do pass as amended in the committee analysis, with the exception of the amendment proposed in comment 5 to retain the language regarding independent administrator,
Correct.
which we will continue working on.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. 765 would require the CPUC to create an independent entity known as the California Market Transformation Administrator to coordinate the state's energy efficiency market transformation activities. Market transformation activities aim to create structural change in the market, which would lead to long-term savings. There have been studies that have shown that California has not successfully utilized energy efficiency market transformation as a tool to realize deeper cuts in our energy demand. Other states have, and actually these ideas came out, these proposals came out of the proceedings that were held in December of 2014, and the studies, our bill tracks those recommendations. 765 does not take away the administration of the energy efficiency programs from the IOUs. It does not. It seeks to build upon and work with the existing IOU energy efficiency programs. It positions California to unlock more fundamental transformation of the economy and use of these energy efficiency programs. And with me today to testify in support of 765 is Haley Goodson with the Utility Reform Network, or TURN, and Dan Jacobson with Environment California. Thank you, and thank once again the Chair and the staff. I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Ms. Wolk. Others in support? We'll take 3 main support witnesses.
Thank you, Chair Rendon and committee members. My name is Haley Goodson. I'm here representing the Utility Reform Network. SB 765 would bring California into conformity with best practices in other parts of the United States, where independent entities administer energy efficiency market transformation initiatives cost effectively with great success. But the real purpose of the bill is twofold, and I want to make that clear. The first is to provide increased energy efficiency savings cost effectively in California, but the second is also critical, and that is to make high efficiency devices and appliances available to all Californians by increasing availability of products and lowering prices so that consumer bills are decreased and all Californians can participate in the state's efforts to meet the governor's 2030 climate goals. Now, we have opposition from 2 sides, which I expect you to hear about today. The first is from the investor-owned utilities, the IOUs, and they would like the opportunity to do a better job at energy efficiency market transformation activities rather than let a new statewide entity come into being. But it is well documented that this particular type of energy efficiency strategy is better suited to an independent entity than a utility because it requires nimbleness. And second, having 4 IOU administrators operating in California has created both cost redundancies and gaps in coverage. And both of these are problems that a single statewide entity would avoid. Now, our opposition also comes from a different side, and that's from NRDC, which has opposed the bill unless amended. NRDC's principal concern is that the bill should be amended to add a new advisory board staffed by experts, including the IOUs, which would guide the new market transformation administrator and the PUC. And we've been in conversations with NRDC, and it will continue to be in conversations with NRDC, and hope to get to a place where they can support the bill. But at this point, our concern is that their specific proposals are too prescriptive. And with that, Turn respectfully asks for your aye vote on this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And members, my name is Dan Jacobson with Environment California. We know that energy efficiency is the cleanest, quickest, and cheapest way of reducing our energy use and pollution. These common sense solutions put cash back in the pockets of California residents and businesses while protecting the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the future of our planet. Indeed, energy efficiency must play a crucial role in meeting California's greenhouse gas emission reduction targets. Yet to fully realize the power of energy efficiency and harness the scale of our economy, California needs to adopt a sustained market transformation strategy. Through SB 765, California has the opportunity to take a new step in energy efficiency leadership by creating an independent California market transformation administrator. And it's important to note that 9 out of 10 of the top states identified as energy efficiency leaders have this, except for California. So the Cal MTA model is based on successful regional and statewide administrative models. Targeted market transformation initiatives that are deployed across the state are a fundamental component of a balanced and cost-effective energy efficiency portfolio. The Cal MTA will deliver deep energy savings that are crucial to reach California's climate goals and realize Governor Brown's goal of a 50% improvement in energy efficiency. Environment California urges an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. The opponents of the bill? Actually, you know what? You're right. I should be asking for support.
Oh, other supporters?
Yes. So we've had the supporting main witnesses. Is there anyone who wishes to identify themselves in their support? I apologize. So supporters.
Strella Servas with the California Environmental Justice Alliance in strong support.
Thank you.
Sach Constantine with the Center for Sustainable Energy in strong support for the reasons you heard here. It's consistent with policy. It's going to access low and middle income customers, and it's consistent with nationwide best practices. Thank you.
Elizabeth Byrne on behalf of Sierra Club California in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in support? Okay. Now let's take those in opposition. One main speaker and then 3 others, if you so desire.
Sure.
Mr. Chair, I forgot one item before you hear from the opposition, one sentence.
Sure.
I forgot to mention the reason for the bill. The question comes up whether, the CPUC has, under their existing legal authority, they could just do this. The fact is they don't believe that, and they do recommend that authority be granted. That's why the bill's here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Those in opposition.
Valerie Torella Vlahos with Pacific Gas and Electric Company, and we officially have an oppose unless amended position. We submitted to the author some amendments that would submit to the PUC with legislative direction, asking them to come up with a strategy for market transformation with some, proposed principles and guidelines. So I think what either described in the analysis or maybe what the author just said, I don't think that addresses the author's goal. So just to speak on the bill, PG&E doesn't believe there's some sort of failure here with our ability as utilities to coordinate with other entities for successful market transformation programs. We believe that instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater and handing the keys over with $100 million to some other entity that's not a utility is the wrong way to go and doesn't fix the market barriers that exist. For example, and this was raised a week ago, while we were all busy here working, the CEC was having a workshop on some bills that are here before the legislature, one of them being this bill. And what was raised in that discussion is the flat screen television program that the utilities ran in conjunction with Northwestern area utilities and entities. It was outside of California. It was wildly successful and shown to transform the market. But in California, the utilities were called a failure. So we think there's some underlying issues that exist. And whoever you give the keys to, if we don't fix these underlying issues, that other entity will also fail. So I guess with that testimony, we would ask for your no vote.
Tamara Raspberry on behalf of San Diego Gas and Electric and Southern California Gas Company, the Semper Utilities. And we understand that the legislature and the governor both want to meet the goal of increasing energy efficiency by 50%. How do you do that? You don't do it by creating a new administration for a program that then takes $100 million of ratepayer money and redistributes it. You do it by reforming the current program. You do it by removing market barriers, as my colleague stated before. You do it by allowing incentives to go to low-income communities with older facilities and older homes that are below code. And you also do it by reforming the current retrospective process that is used to verify energy efficiency savings incentive programs that are administrated by the utilities. You don't do it by creating another layer of bureaucracy, another layer of administration to say that the utilities aren't doing this job, so we're going to do it for them. We don't think that will give you savings, and for those reasons, we oppose this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members. Nick Pappas with Southern California Edison. We are also opposed to this bill. I think I'd like to echo the proponents' comments. We totally agree that energy efficiency is a vital tool as we move forward in trying to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in the electric sector. We also think market transformation can play a role there. That's why we're currently actively participating in the CPUC proceeding on market transformation and other energy efficiency issues to try to address some of the barriers and issues, as some of my other utility colleagues mentioned, so that we can more effectively pursue market transformation, which currently the structure really does not assist utilities in pursuing these long-term pathways, instead incentivizing us to pursue more shorter-term incentive programs. So among other barriers, we're looking at that and trying to fix that in the ongoing proceeding. Another big question in the proceeding is whether market transformation should be handled by utilities or should be handled by a third party. I would note that the only CPUC document that I'm aware of on this topic was a staff report which specifically declined recommending market transformation be sourced out to a third party and said we should wait to see what the stakeholder discussion is in the CPUC proceeding on this specific topic. Finally, I'll just note the comment from the author that the CPUC would like to have the authority to essentially outsource from utilities to a third party this market transformation issue. I would just note that it's a very different policy discussion whether we give authority to the Public Utilities Commission to do this. This bill takes a very different approach, which is mandating that the Public Utilities Commission make a pretty significant policy change, which is consolidating market transformation into a third party. So with those issues noted, we respectfully ask for your no vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Others in opposition? Is there anyone in between? Great. Questions from committee members? Oh, Ms. Bonilla.
I have a few questions, and one is that it seems like we're creating something that maybe could just go on and on forever, which is what we tend to do. And I'm wondering if one of the suggestions on page 3 was this, the CPUC suggests that to manage these risks, there must be a continuous evaluation to decide whether to maintain course, alter direction, or abandon the effort. And also needs to be allocate the risks rationally across stakeholders. But I'm wondering, if we are creating something here that will we ever come back and say this worked or it's not working, or maybe now they've put a structure in place that can be effectively managed just by the PUC itself?
We limit this effort to 5 years.
Oh, very good. So there actually is like a sunset.
I don't know if you
on
call it a
this.
sunset. I'm looking for the exact language that we have.
It's part of the contract for a term of 5 years.
It's page 5, line 35.
Yep.
It's not less than 35 years.
I think, haven't we agreed?
And does it go away at
The
5
initial,
years?
yeah, I understand. My bill. The initial contract, here's the language. Thank you very much. Not less than 5 years may be terminated if the Cal MTA fails to meet the performance benchmarks that are established in the contract. One of the issues that we want to continue working on is we care very much about the accountability measures here, whether it works or not. I think that's really important, because the only reason for doing this is that we want the energy efficiency programs to actually work and to be, really engaged, put into the community, adopted by the community, so by the state. So those are the issues that we do commit to working on with the chair to his satisfaction, and to the that's part of this issue.
Okay. Yeah, that's very important to me, because otherwise, the utilities may not be doing it to someone's satisfaction, or the CPUC may not be doing it, and this group or the new administrator may not do it to our satisfaction. And I'm glad there's a mechanism in there, and that you're going to be clear about. And in terms of the contract, is that going to be the CPUC is going to write this contract with the goals?
Yes, that is the goal.
Okay.
With the independent administrator. And the other issue that was mentioned by the opposition has to do with the funding, and that was removed as part of the amendments, which is fine. We're going to continue working on that so that we make sure that we have the protections that the committee is comfortable with.
Okay, and the funding was the other question I had. So where are we on the funding now?
That was part of the amendments that were removed.
To do what exactly? Take it out, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's still ratepayer funded, as per the amendments.
It is, but the issue is exactly what you're talking about, the accountability. I have concerns. The chair does have concerns as well. We need to work out the accountability mechanisms surrounding those funds. We're not increasing the funds. The funds are in place currently. And that we're not going to increase them at all. We want to reorganize to make sure that they are used in a better way.
And then who selects this new administrator? Who selects the administrator, this new position?
The PUC.
So the CPUC itself would appoint the administrator of this program.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Ms. Eggman?
Thank you, Senator. So you said that in hearings, the CPUC has best practice has suggested this, and then we heard that nationwide as well. But then we heard the opposition saying there's been no such recommendation.
Well, the proceeding that was held, I believe, December 9th of 2014, there were some documents, and that's what we looked at. And this was one of the how to achieve an energy efficient market transformation in California. And this was an approach. So that's why we adopted it.
Other questions? Great. I just want to clarify, and Ms. Wolk was correct when she said it's not necessarily a sunset. The language does says it's, and the language also says for a period of not less than 5 years, which is, again, line 35, for a period of not less than 5 years. I'm sorry, were there other questions? Ms. Bonilla, as a follow-up?
Some clarification, because it's not a...
It says not less than 5 years, which means it goes more than 5 years, so there's no sunset.
I see. So is the contract, when is the contract evaluated? I mean, I'm just for clarification on the not less than 5 years, so it's 5 years or more.
It's during that period, and a lot that is described on page 8 of the bill describes the ongoing efforts in evaluation, adoption, coordination, and we want that's not sufficient in my view, and neither is it in the chair's view. We want to tighten that up and make certain that the kinds of accountability that you're referring to, is it working? If it isn't, what happens?
Right, because I could see with that language, you could potentially, the first contract itself could be a 10-year contract because it could be anything not less than 5 years. It could be a 20-year contract. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it's a much more, reasonable length of a contract that then has built in, all of the provisions of performance and review, so it's not automatically renewed. But I think that length of the contract should be maybe spelled out. Otherwise, we don't really know how long they would have to perform, and then that could skew the whole effort to hold anyone accountable. Thanks.
Agree. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Check to close, Senator.
I would just ask for your aye vote again. Once again, thank you for working on this with us.
Thank you, Senator. Do we have a motion?
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Bonilla and a second from Ms. Eggman. Please take the roll.
The motion is due pass as amended to Appropriations Committee. Rendon?
Aye.
Rendon, aye. Patterson? Ishajian? Bonilla?
Aye.
Bonilla, aye. Burke? Burke, aye. Daly? Eggman?
Aye.
Eggman, aye. Garcia? Hadley?
No.
Hadley, no. Hernandez? Obernolte?
No.
Obernolte, no. Quirk? Santiago?
Aye.
Santiago, aye. Ting, Williams. 5-2.
We're going to keep the roll open. It needs a couple of votes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, this concludes the hearing of bills. We're going to hold the roll open for 10 minutes to allow absent members to vote. And then after that, we'll begin our informational hearing.
everybody who was here except for Burke. Well, they left their materials behind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we should probably fire up the projector, right?
Do we remember how that works? And the clicker?
Yeah, someone's got a clicker around here.
It's already on.
I think so. They've already done the cutaway shots of us doing the wave out there. Yeah, I borrow this?
Yeah.
I think so. He was ducked out to do his bill. But I think he'll be back.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Apologize about that mix-up on oh, no, not at all. No, that's great. Thanks very much for the invitation. It was great.
I love you, brother. Thank you. Love you too, Brent. It's taken 2 hours for 2 bills of this. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thanks.
Did you do it right?
Of course I did it right. Here I go.
Yeah.
Alf just said that committee just broke in 10 minutes. So I don't know what's going on.
Thank you so much. That's a little frightening.
Yeah, I know, a little nervous. So will you do your clicking for your slides?
See what? Yeah, unless you want differently.
That works.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to do.
Do you want to move that microphone over because it's casting a shadow? That one right there? Yeah. No, what about the one that...
The one with the flag on it, you can see it from here.
Perfect. Thanks.
It's okay.
Put your name.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Read this first. Members, this concludes our business for the day. Secretary, please announce the votes.
SB 286, the final vote is 11 to 1, 3 not voting. SB 660, 15-0. SB 765, 8 to 5. All bills are out.
All bills are out. Thank you. This hearing is now adjourned.